It's the 31 Days of Dread. Day 18. Species, The Awakening. This is a franchise killing film, and it's also a made for TV spin off of a film franchise. So we answered our question from The Omen. Let's hit the music and let's get into it. Yeah, so I answered my own question uh, from episode from day 14 of the 31 Days of Dread, the Omen, the Awakening, and I put that out everywhere. And I did get a DM about this movie, and okay, so I had something scheduled to release today, and I just said that the heck with it. Let me just and watch this movie, sit down and have a conversation because there's things about species that we have gone unsaid. And I want to get into species as a film franchise, as a film idea, as just this entity of a horror movie, sci-fi horror. And there's not much again. Same with the Galloways, where Galloways was horror western, and it's a very slim group there, very small group. Equally, there's a very small group of sci-fi horror. Everyone gravitates towards Alien. If you take Alien off the table, we do not have much. I will put Star Wars episodes 1, 2, and 3 in sci-fi horror because if you can get through those movies, that's that'll turn your stomach. But yeah, I'm drinking ginger tea here. I'm gonna take a little sip. Took that sip. Okay. Species is a 1995, right? Am I right? Am I right? 95. It's a 95 movie that I remember seeing with my pops. I remember when this came out. I think I was a sophomore in high school, and this was one of those movies that it was like I was maybe like just hitting a peak, like just hitting puberty and having Natasha Hentridge. I am butchering her name. Hentridge, Natasha Hentridge, as the focus for this movie was the first time I saw something intentionally be sexy and deadly at the same time, and being next to your father when you're watching a movie like Species, yeah, it gets to that is a memorable experience with pops. Okay, so up until this point, yeah, kind of like my sister and I, we talked about this, and even myself is we were somewhat of a film going music driven family. We did a lot of movies, we listened to a lot of music together, and my sister and I grew into a love for both. And like just a shareable like experience, like an appreciation. Like we always flirted with the idea of going to California and doing stuff, but it never was a like a true reality. And that's because like just myself, even looking back, I think my sister and I never really wanted it. We were happy being in Jersey. We wanted to be close to family. The internet was coming up. It wasn't that you did not have to be a futurist to see that you could like work from a location and connect with anyone in the world. And that's where I grew up. That's my attitude right now. My buddy Tommy just moved to CA, and he's moving there to get closer to film. He's made a couple films in the past. I talked about him before. It really upsetting because I wanted Tommy to be a guest here. Now he's in California, so maybe I gotta go to California and do a run of Dream Warriors with all my film friends, and we'll do like a coast to coast type thing. You know what? That's actually a pretty solid idea. Okay, so species. There's one glaring idea about this movie that became a franchise in '95, and it's H.R. Giger. He is the visual artist, the visual. He is the eyeball candy. He's the genius. He comes from another world. H.R. Giger. He's the guy that they used his design work for the original Alien, facehuggers, the alien creature, and from there, history literally, literally wrote itself. He has embedded himself when it comes to visual design into Hollywood, unlike any other. There is no other artist that did so little and got so much from it. And you're like, how can you? What mean so little? He did giant paintings. Correct, but there's people who have careers in doing what he did, and they don't. We don't know their names. Okay, name me one guy behind any of the Marvel visual development right now. You can't. Andy Pack from the School of Liefeld. I just wanted to throw that one there. But okay, so H.R. Giger uh, became a more prominence with his adaptation now. Like, so they adapted his designs for the movie Aliens. Stan Winston, who directed Pumpkinhead, it might have been, 31 Days of Dread, Day 2, I think. Day 2 was Pumpkinhead. I don't know. I need a list in front of me. Pumpkinhead was Day 2. I just confirmed it. Okay, so Stan Winston goes in on top of H.R. Giger and what, as Walt Disney would say, plus it out. He pluses out Giger's design, and no longer does it become Giger. It becomes this other. It's this other idea visually. So the aliens and Alien Queen, what we see in Aliens is not H.R. Giger's work. It's a build art. It's almost like this extrapolation. I almost would describe it if you never saw Alien and you had James Cameron describe to you what he wanted, we would get what's in Aliens. So from that point, like the Alien movies always struggled with this balance. How much of Giger goes into the Aliens? How much of it does not? We have to add something different because that's what we do in Hollywood. And how do we add something and keep it? So along the way, Giger worked on a unproduced version of the movie Dune. That's documented with the Dune document, obviously with the Dune documentary, the Jodorowsky Dune, and some of those designs look like that they were echoed in Prometheus. And like not so much. The Lynch Dune did not really borrow anything from the Giger work that anyone could see. So why are we talking so much about Giger, a concept artist, and Species? Because Species, the monster in this movie, is a Giger creation. I viewed this as the only Giger intended movie, meaning that they wanted to get Giger's designs and get his visual and build around that. So Giger is driven through sexuality. He's driven through darkness. He is driven through. There's a like erotic, exotic part of his art. Okay, that is somewhat voyeuristic because you want to see it. You don't want to see it. It's disgusting. It's not disgusting. It's weird. It's not weird. And he captures all of this. So Species takes all those core ideas and puts it into a screenplay, spits it out, and we have a heck of a, again, 90s forever. We have, it's so funny because Life came out with all-star movie cast. Like everyone's in that Life movie that came out this year, and this movie is Life. And it just shows you the difference between the 90s and now, where the 90s they were just, dude, they were playing kickball. Like, in kickball everything's a home run. They were 90s was all kickball home runs, okay? So so the premise of this alien is that she seduces men. She's a Venus flytrap. It's sexualized. It's a beautiful woman with a horrific looking alien underneath, but it's a Giger driven alien. So it's a wonderful design, tail, tongue, hot tub scene. Like we have these elements. And I just remember watching this for the first time, and it really took me back. There was even a species making of, like, art of book before there were such a thing. I think it's called Giger Species, and it goes into the relationship that he had with the filmmakers and the studio for that movie. And that's what I mean. Species is with intent a Giger driven experience. And so the original movie doesn't have much of anything. It really doesn't. I mean, it has awesome characters. It has your charismatic Michael Madsen. It has Ben Kingsley. And Forrest Whitaker. He's like the empath. And right, Forrest Whitaker is. I'm going from memory here. Is Forrest Whitaker in? Yes, he is. Alfred Molina, Doc Ock in this movie. Um, and Marge Helgenberger, and she's in a lot of movies, and she's awesome. So here, like the whole thing is that it's a driven movie. It's a containment movie, meaning that we have this thing, we're going to nurture it in the lab. It breaks loose, and then they have to go find it. And like we've seen this plot before. Again, with horror movies, we do not invent. We go on what we already know. We go on conventions, and horror is built on conventions. This is the running theme now in 31 Days of Dread. 31 Days of Dread themes. I complete this on our last episode, last day. Okay, horror movies are built on conventions. We have there's such a thing as franchise killing films. Species: The Awakening is one of them. We have very few horror westerns. Okay, Gala Walker's Last Day, and then I'm forgetting some of our conventions. Do I need to scroll through? Oh, okay. And you know what? We have one superhero horror movie, which is Spawn. But we also we go through and within the 31 Days of Dread, we're redefining how we look at independent horror movies, and maybe what our attitudes should be when we sit down and watch these features. But yeah, so Awakening, from what I could tell, made by Sci-Fi, straight to television, straight to DVD. Species: Awakening is I guess a reboot, somewhat continuation of Species 1, 2, and 3. Species 2, interesting, introduces a character named Patrick. And so Patrick is the opposite of Eve. So, right, it's Eve and Patrick in this, right? I'm so bad with any of this right now. I don't even know. I'm not even, I can't get the character name. So I'm pretty sure it's Eve. Syl. I'm sorry. Syl and Patrick is the male in Species 2. So Hentridge plays Syl. Awakening, like the intent is, look, they got someone beautiful for Awakening. This girl is soft on the eyes. Species: Awakening came out in 2007, and it stars. Let me tell you the star of this. I apologize about that. I had a phone call from work, but I was able to just to look up real quick and bring up what I needed to. For some reason, when I sat down to do this, I only took notes on Species and then put down my thoughts for Species: Awakening. Dummy move there. Rookie move. Hey, when you start a podcast and you do it as hard as I've been doing it, you gotta invent things and ways of doing stuff, and you have to just discover what needs to get done. Like, you just can't take anything for granted. Hey, I try and be as prepared as possible. But yeah, so Helena Madison is the Hottie Totterson that's our beautiful villainous monster killer in Species: The Awakening. Just to sum it up, so some of it's worth talking about, maybe. So her caretaker, who's played by Ben Cross, we've seen him in a ton of movies. her caretaker just experiments on her. She's like this result of an alien DNA experiment. She has this awakening, and then it becomes like a road trip movie. And somehow we have species none. There's she's trying to kill him, and she disguises herself as a nun, and she's species killer nun. That is the pivotal highlight of this movie. It is worth watching just for that scene alone. And then along the way, we just have her in an arc where I've learned to live, and supposedly dies, and the explosion at the end, and so on and so forth. So there's really not much to take away from Awakening. It is, believe it or like, when it comes to comparing it to The Omen 4, The Omen 4, The Awakening, right? We we got dual awakenings here. I love it. I just realized that. Oh my god, I'm such an idiot. we got we have two major TV franchise killing sequel, extension, reboot films with The Awakening as a subtitle. You cannot get any better than that. If we compare the Awakening movies, yeah, The Omen 4 is much better acted, better directed, music's better, everything's better. Species The Awakening just doesn't push the ideas. It doesn't cut glass. I get it, TV budget. We have the FCAA. We have a regulatory overreach coming into what's on television. Even though it's cable, it may be out of scope of that, but it doesn't matter. There's still a level of regulatory broadcast. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't really. It's not Omen the Awakening. I just wish that they did a little bit more into the core concepts from the original that carried over. I mean, I think even if they did like a straight remake where it's a hunt movie and we have a cast of characters that each have a different ability, and one or two of them are people we might identify, but each one is a stereotype. I think that would make us follow and be engaged in the plot easier and quicker. That's why we use stereotypes in storytelling. We don't invent stereotypes. We don't invent conventions. We use them. Okay, because we can cut and paste storylines together, and then we trust the filmmakers and the actors and actresses to do the magic to make this very nominal, simple material into just fun stuff. But yeah, so Species: The Awakening is definitely. I don't want. I just do. I want to say ignore it. I would say yes. Should we watch Species? 100. Yes, please watch Species. It's also directed by Roger Donaldson. Getting back to Species, Roger Donaldson, The Bounty. I'm going through his filmography: The Bounty, No Way Out, Cocktail, Cadillac Man, White Sands, The Getaway, the remake, Species, Dante's Peak, 13 Days, The Recruit, The World's Faces, Indian, The Bank Job. So he's made some notable movies. He is a consistent filmmaker, still making films today. So yeah, avoid Species: The Awakening. Watch Species. Even watch Species 2. In the meantime, I might watch Species 2 and 3 and just refresh myself and get more of an idea of what's happening here. But yeah, made for TV movie sequel reboot franchise extending film, made in 2007, can definitely. We can say it's a pass, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dennis Feldman, the director. I'm not even sure what else Dennis Feldman's done. Should we need to look him up? He doesn't even have much of a wiki. Yeah, it looks like he is. Yeah, we don't really. It looks like he's. Geez, I mean, it looks like he's been in Hollywood for a while. But yeah, so we're just going to move on with the 31 Days of Dread. We're going to chalk this one up as a lost kiddo. And everyone have a good day and enjoy yourself. And happy Halloween. What's coming up?